This is a tutorial on how to make a nonlinear quiz using Google Forms. To do that, go to your Google Drive, create a new form. Now, these are tools that you'd want to use for some central content because they are quite time intensive to create. So I'm going to just call this nonlinear quiz since this is a tutorial. This is going to be the first section of my nonlinear quiz, so I'm just going to call it Q1 so I can keep track of some stuff. In order to make these work, we need to use several sections, so I'm going to need to add at least 3. 2 and 1 more makes 3. The first section we're going to call question 1 correct. The next section we're going to call question 1 incorrect. The remaining section is going to be submit. So you have to have, for one question, a correct and then an incorrect section. You need to submit so you can get out of your different sections once you're done. In my first section, I'm going to add a question here. My question is going to be, based on periodic trends, which of the following atoms has the highest electronegativity? Question mark. My options are going to be fluorine, chlorine, sulfur, and francium. Now, since this is a quiz, I'm going to want to turn that on. Settings icon. Probably want to collect email addresses and go to quizzes, turn this to quiz. You can, of course, change some of these settings based on your needs for your class. Once you have a quiz question, you're going to click on the question that you are editing, hit answer key. This is now available. Choose the correct answer, which is fluorine. Increase the points to whatever you need. Go back to edit. Then one other setting that I like to do is called shuffle option order, so that if you have multiple kids taking this quiz, they are not able to see the same exact stack if they're looking at what their neighbor happens to be clicking. It also needs to be a required question. To make the nonlinear aspect of this quiz work, we need to go to this choice down at the 3 dots at the bottom right, go to section based on answer, and then these options appear. Since we named our sections, this is really easy. This is question 1. I need to go to question 1 correct. And then I happen to have 3 distractors, which will all go to incorrect. Now, if this were to be a discrete skill that has 3 separate common misconceptions, you could send each misconception to its own specific incorrect section that would reteach that specific misconception. Since I have correct, I can come up with some feedback. Perhaps you just say, nice work. You understand electronegativity and periodic trends. And then for my incorrect, you may just have this as a section that you just have them look at, or you could add another quiz question here. And this quiz question would just be a forced, make sure you look at what I'm asking you to look at and do a thought of come up with an answer. So one option for these reteach sections, the incorrect sections, I could use a picture. So in this case, I'm going to do by URL, and I just so happen to have a picture of one of the teaching things I use. I'm going to get the copy image address. I'm going to paste that in and then select this. So this is a graphic from one of the readings that I use to help teach electronegativity. And then my question is going to say this: now that I have re-examined the graphic, comma, I understand. And my option is going to be that atoms closer to fluorine have a high attraction for electrons, which results in a high electronegativity Since it's a quiz, I can make this the correct answer because it's a reteach question. It's not going to be worth anything. And then I can choose where I want them to go from here. I can have this go back to the first question if I'd like them to have another shot at it. Or if I had another question, I could have them go to that section, which I don't have set up. Or if I just want them to submit their form, because that was the last question, I can go to submit. I'd like them to try that question again. Since I don't have any other questions, if I wanted other questions, I would go to this section right here, section 3 of 4. Click on it. I'd add a new section and call that question 2, and then I'd have to go through the same process of make an incorrect and a correct section for question 2 and go through the exact same steps. Oh, this needs to be required, by the way. And so based on this answer, go back to question 1. This one, because I don't have any other questions, after they've correctly answered my first question, I'd like them to submit a score. And then we can preview what this looks like. So the student has a misconception. They think that high electronegativity is by francium, which is on the exact opposite end of the periodic table. That would be a good distracting answer. Clicking next takes me to the incorrect feedback. Looking at this graphic, okay, I understand where I went wrong. I can click this button, I can click next. Notice it sends me back to the first question. In this case, after looking at the graphic, I know, oh, I should have picked francium. Click next. And now I got to the correct answer, and now I can submit my form. Notice that when you do the process that way, they end up getting 100% on their quiz. Maybe that's what you want, maybe it's not. There's ways to get around that and get the actual score with the reteach opportunity, but that was the choice I made for how I directed this. Hope that helps.